Hey there, it's Nick Doherty from Forest Hill Real Estate, and today we are continuing our four-part series on how to calculate the numbers on a rental property. This is part 3 of a four-part series. We're going through all the calculations, the numbers to actually invest in a rental property. Now in part number 1, which was a few weeks ago, we went over an example of purchasing a property of $350,000. And we came up with the investment total of what we would have to come up with to actually even invest in that property. What kind of capital or equity would we have to come up with? And we came up with a total of $77,675. That's the foundational number that we would require to actually invest in a $350,000 property. Now in part 2, which was last week's video, we went into the income and expenses. We came up with the net operating income, which we came up to $1,175. And now from that number, we can calculate our mortgage payment and our cash flow, which we'll be doing today in part number 3. But if you haven't watched part number 1 or part number 2, go back right now, watch those videos, because this video will make more sense if you watch those 2 videos first. I've gone ahead and cleaned up the board and also calculated our mortgage payment. As you can see, I have it written down here as $1,161. How did I come up with that number? So what I usually do is go to a website called ratehub.com, and I can post the resource down below. It helps you calculate the mortgage. What you do from there is you put in the purchase price, and as you remember from the first video, we were doing an 80% loan to value, which would mean we would have $70,000 down as the down payment. So when you go to this site, you're able to put that in. I had it as the mortgage would be $280,000. I had the amortization period as 30 years, and I had the mortgage rate of 2.89. How did I come up with the mortgage interest rate? I go to another site that has real-time, day-to-day comparisons of the best interest rates, and I took a CIBC rate of 2.89, a 2-year, and I use that as the interest rate. Now I know you can get some a little bit higher and a little bit lower, but depending on who you go to, your interest rate will vary, but in this case I use 2.89%. When you factor all these in and you go to the RateHub site, it'll come out to a conclusion that the mortgage payment is $1,161. So now we know our mortgage payment. What does this mean? Now that we know our mortgage payment, we can calculate our cash flow, or if this property is actually cash flowing. So in part number 2, we figured out the NOI, our net operating income. So we have our cash flow here, and how to calculate that, we would take our NOI minus our mortgage payment. So we know that our NOI is $1,175, and we're going to take our mortgage payment, we're going to minus $1,161. Left over, that means we have $14 a month. With $14 cash flow, does this property make sense to move forward? From my perspective, I would move forward on a property like this, a single family house that's cash flowing. At the end of the month, you have to think all your expenses, everything is paid for, your mortgage is paid for, and you're still putting $14 in your bank account at the end of the month. You don't have to come up with any of the funds. They're paid for, and you get $14. Although it might not seem like a lot, there is other components as we get into part number 4 that are going to contribute to your ROI, your bottom line, and how hard your money is working. So from my perspective, for a single family house, this would be something that I would be confident to move forward on, to know that I won't have to be putting any money out of my own pocket, and it's not negative cash flowing. So this is a good investment to move forward on. I trust that this video was of benefit to you, and as I had mentioned on the previous segment, I've posted some resources and tools down below that'll help you calculate your monthly mortgage payments, and I'll go over all these scenarios. You'll be able to plug them in and calculate your mortgage rate and what are the going rates. You'll be able to check that daily if you wanted by having this resource and tool and link down below. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you do think that this would benefit somebody else that's curious in real estate investing, maybe they're just getting started and they would like to know how to calculate the numbers or where to get started, please share this with them. Now you're going to want to stay tuned too, because next week we're going to be going over the ROI, or return on investment. We're going to find out how hard our money is actually working with us, which is the most exciting part. So stay tuned to next week when we finish this 4-part series, and we've broken down part 1, part 2, part 3, and next week part 4. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you next week.